Second?
No,
No, okay, I make a motion to return from executive session at 5:35.
Second?
Okay, motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon to return to regular town board meeting session following a closed session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. All right.
You can go on to public comment.
Okay, we'll go on to public comment, everybody. Those wishing to speak to the board, this is your chance. Yes, ma'am. Hi,
Hi,
Beth.
just like to know when you folks are gonna resign, how many scandals need to happen. You know, you're just digging yourself into a deeper hole, or it's going to come out on you. Do everyone in this area a favor and resign. Especially you, Miss May, Mr. Vera. Thank you.
Anybody else, please? Yes, sir.
John Kraft. I'm the one that wrote the article about your job opening for township assistant clerk or deputy clerk, whatever you want to call it. I find it hard to believe that anybody in their right mind would think that you could ask or demand that somebody be a Democrat in order to hold a part-time employment position in a township. It's ridiculous. I don't know who told you to put that in there, but whoever put that in there to begin with should just get up and quit their jobs and walk out the building right now. It's ridiculous. Did you destroy or file the applications received under that job description so where you won't look at them for the new job opportunity posting? Because if you already received some, then you automatically know they're Democrats, or should be, because they applied under that job position. I think you should take all the ones that you received under that position, or that application, and file them away not to even be looked at, and only look at ones you received after you corrected the notice. I know you're not going to answer any questions. And the other thing, the previous, before a previous election, this board, I believe it was in November 2012, when they set the compensation of the township clerk, they actually set two compensations of the township clerk. They based one off of part-time and another one off of full-time. And there's nothing in the statute right here that states that a clerk is full-time or part-time. You can't make two separate salary schedules for an elected position. But that's what this township did. And it actually doubled the salary, depending on whether the clerk agreed to, or you thought that, or the board thought the clerk would work full-time, or the board thought the clerk would work part-time. And it made the decision within a couple of weeks of the election on whether it would be full-time or part-time. That leaves everybody to assume that you wanted to see who was going to run for office or who you thought was going to win the office on whether you decide to grant them the full-time salary as opposed to half of the full-time salary for a part-time salary. When you tell people what you're going to pay them, and it goes for health insurance, car allowances, dental, life insurance, all the other, if you tell people what you're going to, if you tell the public what you're going to pay them, that's what they get paid. You don't get choice between part-time and full-time later on. It all has to happen 180 days before the election. And I hope at the next election that you do it properly and you go back on this past from 2013 to 2017 or whatever it was, and recoup some of that money. Because not only did you double the pay, you doubled the car allowance, which is ridiculous to begin with, and then you added money on top of that that was never in the original resolution. That's all I have. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Kirk Allen. Got several bullet points I'll go through here. As before, my first time here, you're very transparent and open, I appreciate that.
Mr.
Since
Allen,
then,
can I ask you, will you be giving me a copy of that this time, or, I'm just curious?
I can send you a copy if you like.
No, that's okay, I'll take okay notes.
My first question was, why was no criminal complaint filed when the clerk struck the supervisor in the face? Is violence an acceptable workplace activity in Joliet Township? This board has no legal authority to hire an attorney for the road district without the express authority of the road commissioner. The law is crystal clear. Your actions contradict the law, and that tells me you're not reading it, or you're choosing to ignore it, or you're getting bad advice. Much like when you took over the Joliet Light District in violation of the law. Even worse, your bogus attempts to transfer the Light District to the Road District that now has led to litigation. Clearly, someone's not reading the laws. It's clear you created 2 positions for former board members that were not needed. I find no reference to a senior liaison prior to the one you appointed, a past board member, nor a need for a separate legal counsel for the Road District who literally did nothing. 2 references, and all of the time he was contracted, of him doing anything, and it was the other attorney doing the work. Both of these jobs were nothing but pure nepotism, and I think you know that, Mr. Vera. You should resign for your clear abuse of power as supervisor. You awarded another contract for health insurance, but failed to bid it out, as required. Again, you should resign as you clearly did not know what laws apply to your position. Those who want to imply that health insurance is a professional service, it's not. Do your homework. The AG's been crystal clear on it. The Bar Association's even got the information on their website. You have a pattern of failing to bid, which appears to be by design. I'd also urge new legal counsel that recognizes violations of law when they happen right in front of your face. Has anyone read the laws on fund transfers for the township? Those laws are very restrictive, and it appears those too are being ignored. I was told by the clerk at a past meeting that she keeps accurate minutes. If that is true, why do minutes reflect the township purchased a truck for a county organization when that is not true? I read the minutes and I FOIA'd information on the purchase of the truck, and I get no records, no records, no records, and finally I get an explanation. But here's what the minutes say. Here's what the public is informed of. Quote, he updated the board, referring to the supervisor, he updated the board on the purchase of a truck for the Will County Senior Services. Purchase of the truck for the Will County Senior Services Safe at Home program. He indicated he sent everyone an email on the issue. He was able to get a $2,000 reduction on the price of the truck. He informed Trustee Slattery that our name will be on the truck. The next meeting, there's still no signage on the truck to reflect it being donated by the Joliet Township government. But you didn't buy a truck. So the minutes lead the public to believe a vehicle was in fact purchased, but the truth of the matter, it wasn't. Instead, the supervisor gave away approximately $25,000 to another public body with the board's blessing. I challenge this board and legal counsel to provide the statute that gives you folks the power to give township funds away to another unit of government so they can purchase a truck. Is it fair to the taxpayers that you provide health care to private attorneys? While such a benefit was listed on your past attorney's contract, his name did not appear on the list you created of those that received health benefits. Any reason you made that list instead of just providing the actual Blue Cross Blue Shield document that lists all those people? I'm sure we'll know soon enough. The law is clear, quote, the board shall set and adopt rules concerning all benefits available to employees of the board if the board employs 5 or more employees. There's no provision for private attorneys to be included in the township group health insurance, as such benefits are specific for employees and officials of the township. Can you tell the public why records are missing from the township? You were given a letter by the road district secretary and photos of your face after being hit by the clerk. You say there are no such documents. I'll be happy to leave you copies of all the photos. That way you have them in the public record. That way when someone else asks for them, you'll be able to refer to them. Mr. Berry, you tell me there have been adjustments to employee salaries since their original hire. Have you folks read the law on setting compensation of employees? It's the board's job to set compensation. You're unable to provide minutes where compensation is changed, so once again, another example of not following the law. Your payments out of the senior fund point to clear misapplication of funds, which is a criminal statute. These funds are being used for matters that clearly do not qualify under the statute, and we will be providing that information accordingly, both in articles and to the authorities. As we compile the rest of our information, we will include the applicable information as additional evidence to the current criminal investigation that is taking place regarding your actions, Mr. Vera. In all my years of looking at local government, and this is to the rest of you as well, you're the prime example why the public is losing trust in their local government. I suggest you also seek good criminal defense attorney. I'll leave these copies for the record. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
And I'll take those.
Okay. Okay, then we'll move on
Is
to,
there any other?
I'm sorry?
If there's other people.
I'm sorry, was there anybody else? I didn't see anybody. Okay. We'll move on then to new business. Approval, appointment of attorneys for pending litigation.
I make a motion to appoint attorneys Scott Piles and Joseph Sanugo and their firms to represent Supervisor Daniel Vera individually at the rate of $200 per hour as to the pending litigation against the township and Mr. Vera brought by the road district.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Burden, for the appointment of named attorneys for pending litigation. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera? Abstain?
Abstain.
Okay, your motion carries.
Next up is a moment. Sorry, hang on 1 second. Here it is. Everybody will take a moment to review this.
Is this the resume being?
This is the resume for the young lady to be the new veterinary technician out at the Animal Control Center. Jim, I have a question for you on this part. You got a moment? And, well, it'll just take a minute, go ahead.
Bless you.
Zoom tonight.
Okay, the request from our director of Whitney is for the hiring of Kathleen Sheridan to be the new veterinary technician out at our animal control center. Our start date would be January 6th, and our hourly rate would be $17 an hour. Then after completing 90 days probation, everything's successful, it would be increased to $17.50 an hour, is the request.
This is a permanent full-time position?
Permanent full-time position, veterinary technician, yes. Certified vet tech, she's licensed and certified.
Move to hire Kathleen Sheridan as a vet tech out in animal control at $17 an hour, beginning January 6th, and after 90 days, supposedly if she does well through the probationary period, moving up to $17.50 an hour.
Second?
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Burton, for the approval of the hiring of Kathleen Sheridan at the start date of January 6th, $17 an hour. Upon completion of 90 days probation period of time, move to $17.50 an hour. Any further questions? I know a number of individuals were applied for the position, from what I understand, and 2 rounds of interviews were held, and this was the candidate that was selected. So that's the request on our director. No further questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next up is approval of the 2019-2021 2-year snow plowing contract. To let you know, this went out to bid, and 6 companies bid on the project, and the lowest bidder was Hispano Lawn Maintenance and Landscaping, doing business as HL Landscape, and they were the lowest bid. I did have the opportunity to contact 2 of the 3 references, both of which have had this contractor for a number of years. Very pleased with their service, and highly recommend the company for the job that they do at their places of business. So it did check out, and as I said, 6 applied, and they were the lowest bidder.
Do we know how long they were in business, or how long they've been in business, I should say?
No, I don't.
That
No.
was not a question
That was,
on our
yeah,
bid.
it was not on the bid document. But they have been, obviously, with the 2 businesses I did, was able to talk to, they've been doing it for a number of years at their places. And there were 2 businesses. I did have an opportunity to meet with the owner of the business. We walked the parking lot out here on where snow is to be moved properly for ingress and egress on with the employees' cars and the public coming to visit this building. So he does know that. He also was out at Animal Control and looked at that arrangement per the map that was part of the bid document, where to push the snow at that facility.
Okay. I will make the motion to contract our snow plowing and salving for the Joliet Township building and the Animal Control Center with Hispano Lawn Maintenance and Landscaping Company, doing business as HL Landscape, for, looking for the term here,
November 25th, 2019, terminating March 31st, 2021.
Yes.
for that period of time.
Okay.
Second that?
Okay, we need to read into the record the amount of the low bid.
That'd be a good idea.
Yes, I just want to make sure. The low bid that they presented for both locations totals $455. And it's definitely the low bid of the 1, 2, 3, oh, I'm sorry, I said 6 earlier, it's 5 contractors bid on it, 5 contractors. My mistake. They were definitely the low bidder. Okay?
Is that per event, or is that for the entire time frame?
That was the total.
I'm sorry, I heard question? Is that you,
Is that
sir?
per snow or is that for the entire time frame of the contract?
I think it's per
It's
event.
per event, per snow event.
Thanks.
Well, I will add, it's not only, it's for our building and the animal control building.
Yeah.
And depending on whether or not salt is also necessary, the price could go less or more.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve awarding the contract for the next 2 seasons to Hispano Lawn Maintenance and Landscape, doing business at HL Landscape, as stated. Any other further questions or clarifications needed? Hearing none, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who made that second?
Second was by trustee Verdon.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Next up is approval for professional services contract for Oakwood Cemetery. Okay. What you have in your packet is a contract for Mr. Paul Cabay to provide us the administrative services in helping us with Oakwood Cemetery. Just so everybody knows, a number of people were contacted, the Will County Coroner's Office, and 4 different other people that are in the funeral home and other like businesses that deal with cemeteries. And a number of them recommended Mr. Cabay. We had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Cabay, myself and the clerk, and very nice gentleman, some good ideas. He said he would help us draft the rules, the fee schedule, help us get our map certified, all the things that have to take place, as this is a cemetery, an active cemetery, the registrations and everything that go on with the passing of folks that need to be interned into a cemetery. His hourly rate was $35 an hour. We negotiated with him down to $25 an hour and 9 hours a week. It's a short period of time. It's from end of November to the end of March of next spring. He believes that's enough time to get everything in place and drafted. You saw some of the documents that are part of the agenda for tonight to be approved. He's been coming in and working very hard. He did the map certification the other day where he went out and I believe it was 10 tests that he performed based on the map and the records. Again, we received the records in, I think it was mid-September, and he has organized the office upstairs with all the catalog, the hard cards, the maps that came, the old books, all the records that came. He's got them sorted and filed and very usable to help people. I can also tell you that we've already received a couple of contacts. I gave him one the other day of someone doing some family research on their family members, and they believe they have relatives that are at Oakwood, and he's obviously followed up with them and working on trying to locate the proper records for those folks. So I know that's happened in a couple of instances over the last couple of weeks since he's come on board to help. So that's the contract. Questions regarding the contract? Jim, you reviewed this? When it was sent over to you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Anything to add?
No.
Okay. And he did agree to the lesser amount to help us out, get us started, and put this on the right footing to go forward.
And everything is being digitized, or some of
I'm sorry?
the information that we have, the records, is everything being digitized? or-
That's down the road, that's in the future to help
Okay.
us plan. There's a number of, what I understand in chatting with him, there's a number of software programs out there, there's a number of things like that that you can use and utilize. That's going to be a big process, obviously. He's working on a database that we've got now, but it would have to be converted, and that would be a software program of some type, after much research to decide which one would be best fit and to go forward with. So he would help us getting towards that effort and going forward. So it's a scope of services of what he can help us perform and do.
I'll make a motion to contract for professional services, administrative services at Oakwood Cemetery with between Joliet Township and Paul Bay for the term November 22nd, 2019, terminating March 31st, 2020, at the rate of $25 an hour, not to exceed 9 hours per week.
Second.
Motion by trustee Verdon, second by trustee Slattery, as stated, to enter into a contract with Mr. Pogabay for the terms stated by trustee Verdon. Any questions on the contract? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Verdon?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
That motion carries.
Okay. Next up is the adoption of ordinance number 358-2019, the town levy. Okay, Colin?
There have been no changes to the original tentative posted Joliet Township levy.
I would reflect, there was a typo on there, on one of the dates on the very last page. It said 2019, and I caught that today, and it should say, it said 2010, it should say 2019. It is on the new one that you received in your packet today, but that's the only change, and it was just a typo.
Move to approve the ordinance number 358-2019, the tax levy ordinance for 2019. Need the amount probably, right? For, and this is for $2,352,312.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon for the adoption of ordinance number 358-2019, the town levy, as stated with the amount by trustee Slattery. Any questions of Colleen? No further questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Verdon?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next up is adoption of ordinance number 359-2019, the Township Cemetery Rules and Regulations. Again, this is prepared by Mr. Gabay. He looked at a number of rules and regulations of other cemeteries that he's familiar with and came up with the general rules and regulations for the operation of Oakwood Cemetery.
Make a motion to adopt the rules.
Could I, excuse me,
Oh,
sir?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But these rules and regulations actually apply to all of our cemeteries, Oakwood, Sarley, and Mound
Yes.
cemeteries. They're just not, because we do have 3 cemeteries.
Yes.
So this does apply. If there is anything specific to Oakwood, it's stated in these rules and regulations, because we don't, the other 2 cemeteries aren't active. But when it comes to like cemetery decorations and things of that sort, they still would all have to be removed at the same time each year. So if there's anything specific to Oakwood, it is mentioned in the document.
Did Oakwood have anything prior to, or their,
We could not find any rules and regulations in their files.
okay.
Make a motion to adopt the ordinance for the Joliet Township Cemetery Rules and Regulations.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hertzman, second by trustee Verdon for the adoption of the Township Cemetery Rules and Regulations. In addition to that, I would make the comment that they're standard and in accordance with the Illinois Cemetery Acts, CARE Act and things like that. So Paul, very mindful of that, created these for us. So just so you know. Any further questions of what we're trying to accomplish here? Hearing none, roll call please.
Sorry. Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Verdon?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye. Next up is adoption of ordinance number 360-2019, the Township Cemetery Fee Schedule.
Move that we adopt ordinance 360-2019, an ordinance establishing the Joliet Township cemetery fees.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon for the adoption of the cemetery fee schedule presented in our packet. Again, this is put together and created by Paul in reference to other cemeteries and what's done in the general area, so his suggestions. Okay, any further questions on the adoption of the fee schedule?
I would add that these do only apply to Oakwood Cemetery because no burials are happening at the other
Correct.
cemeteries.
Correct.
So this one is exclusive to Oakwood.
Okay,
But it does have their names on them. Operates Oakwood, Sarley, and
Yeah.
Mound cemeteries.
That's because we
But
do operate all
yeah,
those,
but
right.
we,
But the
there
fee
is one
schedule
for
itself
Oakwood.
just reflects Oakwood. I would also add that at the very bottom, you can see that there's a contact number space.
yes,
We're in the process right now of establishing either an answering service or a direct line where we can access for the cemetery office itself. Once we do have that number, we will be placing that in there. And then this information will be sent out to a fairly large geographic area, probably Will and Grady counties, so that they, if someone comes to them for burial services, the cemeteries know what the costs are.
right.
So that number will be added once we have that completely organized.
Right. Okay. There's a motion and a second. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Vera?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next up is adoption of ordinance number 2019-05RD, the road district levy. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, an ordinance levying taxes for the road district of Joliet Township, Will County, for the tax year of 2019, collectible in 2020, be it ordained by the Board of Trustees of Joliet Township as follows. Section 1, the sum of $1,781,240 is hereby levied upon all property subject to taxation within the road district. Is that property is assessed and equalized in order to meet and defray all the necessary expenses, liabilities of the road district as required by statute or voted by the people in the ordinance with the law for such purposes as the general road fund for 2019. Section 2, the amount levied for each object and purpose shall be as follows. And so for personnel, $78,000. Contractual services, $40,100. Commodities, $1,600. Capital outlay, $1,920. Other expenditures, $5120. Total administration would be $172,820. Maintenance personnel, $5,083.800. Contractual services, $840,120. Commodities, $97,500. Capital outlay, $85,000. Other expenditures, $2,000. Total maintenance is $1,608,420. Total general road fund would be $1,781,240.
Okay.
Move that we approve Joliet Township Road District Ordinance 2019-05RD for the tax levy for the tax year 2019 at the dollar amount of $1,781,240.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon for the adoption of Ordinance number 2019-05 RD, the road district levy, as stated by the total amount by trustee Slattery. Any questions on the motion?
I have a clarification.
Sure.
I just want to verify, Mr. Turnbull, under maintenance personnel, did you mean 583,800? I just want to, that's not the number you stated, so.
Yeah, it's $583,800.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No further clarifications? No further questions? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry.
Can I
Trustee,
just-
Oh, I'm sorry, Colleen.
Do you want to state that no changes have been made since the original tentative posting of this?
Oh, at the beginning,
Correct,
yes.
no changes have been made.
Okay. Any further? No?
well, I think the only other thing we often ask is, Mr. Turnbull is in agreement with the letter that we are passing, correct?
I am.
Okay.
Okay. Anything further? Okay. Roll call, please.
And I'm sorry, that was trustee Slattery and trustee Burton, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Slattery,
Aye.
trustee Burton,
Aye.
trustee Hertzman,
Aye.
supervisor Vera,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next up is the adoption of ordinance number 2019-06 RD, transfer appropriation within the road district.
Ready? Okay, whereas there was adopted on the 28th day of May 2019 by the Board of Trustees of Joliet Township in the County of Will, State of Illinois, a budget appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2019 and ending March 31st, 2020. And whereas it now appears that certain adjustments between the appropriation line items in the road district or in the road and bridge fund in such ordinance as are desirable and necessary. And whereas Section 3 of the Illinois Municipal Budget Law 50 ILCS 330-3 was approved on July 12th in 1937 as amended, authorizes transfers between various line items within any fund in such appropriation ordinance not exceeding 10% of the total amount appropriated in each such fund by such ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Trustees of Joliet Township in the County of Will in the State of Illinois as follows. And so what we've done is moved into maintenance equipment / vehicles, $130,000. The money is coming out of $12,000 out of maintenance service buildings, tree service $5,000, sidewalks $5,000, engineering $60,000, maintenance service bridge $5,000, rentals $2,000, environmental cleanup $40,000, equipment $1,000. And administration on the legal side, $20,000 is being moved into and from. Contingency, $20,000, postage $500, employee insurance, $1,200, to make that $20,000. And on the operating supply and materials, maintenance, service equipment, $5,000. $1,000 for printing and publishing, dues and subscription, $500. Maintenance, supplies, small tools, $1,000. Miscellaneous, $500. And drainage supplies, $4,000 to make up for $12,000 for the operating supplies and material to carry us through to the end of this fiscal year.
just ask, it appears that you did not transfer over 10% of the total budget, right?
That is correct.
I will go ahead.
Well, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Mike, you say in this last email that you're declaring an emergency situation that you sent to me, and then you cite 3 statutes on the back end of it. Jim, you reviewed this?
Well, I reviewed the statutes because it was sent to me, so, I mean, the statutes aren't talking about any budgetary issues, but you can read them for yourself, talking about machinery and Department of Human Services, so. They are what they are.
Now, I have a question. Reading this email, are you asking that we amend the budget, or are you asking that we just transfer appropriations?
We just transfer, since I'm under the 10%,
Yeah,
instead of amending the whole budget. It's not necessary to.
I was just looking.
Right. But originally, that's what I was instructed.
Okay.
And then after reviewing it, Colleen called my attention to some other things and suggested this ordinance versus the amendment.
Okay. Well, I'll make the motion to approve ordinance number 2019-06 RD, the transfer of appropriations for the road district as per this schedule that we have here. On for the tax year 2019.
The total transfers are $163,700.
Right. Yeah. So, and it looked like that's well within the limit. It looks like $223,582.90 was the total of 10%. So, am I correct?
We took out the contingencies in that figure, but then it came to like 221 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the ballpark. And we're not close to either of those figures.
Second. And I'm sorry, one thing. So, and if you can just clarify for my purposes. If we fall, like the engineering, the transfer of funds, so with some of the projects that we have, if we fall short, does that get transferred back? Or?
Well, we're not going to fall short because I had a meeting with Hutchinson Engineering prior to making that decision on what they figured they need to run it through till March. And he advised me that the remaining amount would get them through that to that period. And still would enable us, when we start putting our plans together for next year for paving, enough time, that would allow enough time for us to get our bids and probably be some of the first on the docket to get road work done for next year. Now that's per grade amounts.
But that can possibly change as well, though. But they're saying more than likely not?
We're not looking at anything right now. Some of the stuff for some of the projects that's in my report, where for the projects for next year for 2020 that's on the docket right now, he said that he felt confident that we didn't need to be in a hurry to get that stuff out. We'd have rescheduled for a net budget for next year, so. In other words, he's willing to work with us on this to get, he said there's no issues that he's aware of.
And the same goes like for all the other line items, if we fall short,
Yes.
that could be transferred back? Okay. Second.
Then like the back page, I mean, does it,
Well, you're
it just
looking
has
at-
emergency purchase, equipment purchase, and it also has it from the front, so, I mean,
No, I don't have, I'm not looking at that.
well,
Okay.
it's attached with your
Huh?
It's the
transfer.
email that you sent.
It's the email that you sent.
It's this thing.
Oh,
It's this thing, and then it's got those ICLS numbers on the back.
yeah,
That's what I'm referring to.
that's state statutes.
But what emergency?
Well, we need the vehicles.
Okay, explain to us what the emergency is, because you're telling me in here it's an emergency, and
It's not an emergency now because we don't have a snow event. But if I got trucks that don't work and won't work, and we have a major event, then we're impacting the community.
okay,
What are we getting?
I'm getting 2 new trucks and another I-5 or F-550, fully equipped with plow, spreader, they'll plow truck. And I'm getting a 3/4 ton pickup with a plow for a backup. And we're getting rid of 3 vehicles.
okay, and what vehicle is that? Is this the one that was supposed to have a spreader on it, and it did not make the bids?
Yes. We can add the spreader later.
And what vehicle is that replacing? So you just said a
Okay,
dump?
I'm getting rid of J2, J4, and J6. So
Okay.
that J2 is a truck that I drive. J4,
And which truck is that?
that's the Ford.
F-250. Is
Yeah,
that
it's
the
a
2008 F-250
Correct,
with 64,000 miles on it?
correct.
Okay.
And why are we getting rid of that? If it's only got 64,000 miles on it? I just asked.
Because it's a 2-wheel drive truck and we don't have a plow for it. We need trucks to plow.
Okay.
But not to salt?
Well, yeah, for salt,
But there's no
but
spreader on that truck.
there's no spreader on it right now. We put a poly spreader on it next year.
So you won't be salting with that truck this year?
No, but it's a backup plow truck.
Let me ask this question, maybe I misunderstood before. You're not amending your budget. You're just transferring appropriation.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So that 130,000 you're showing here under the line maintenance, it says equipment vehicles.
That's for the 2 trucks.
That's for the 2 trucks.
Right.
And that's going through this transfer of appropriations. And we're not amending the budget at all.
Correct.
When is the expected delivery of these trucks?
Per the bid was 120 days from the time that I ordered the trucks. They gave me a 10-day stay of execution on these trucks, that there would be no price changes or anything, otherwise I got to rebid it.
They give you a 10-day?
Well, that's what they told me.
So the trucks are not coming in for 120 days?
They may be sooner. You know, I started this process when I took this job. And we're in December now, so I've been working on this 90 days. I've done everything that you've asked. Not to mention that everything that has been done in the road district in the 90 days that I've been in this position, not based on me alone.
And what truck is the J4?
That's the International.
And J6?
J6 is a F550. That's the one that the bed and the frame is all rotted out on it. That's not roadworthy.
The International is a 2003 International 7400 dump truck with plow and spreader. It has 6,513 hours on it.
That's because the odometer doesn't work.
Other questions?
I made the motion already.
Yeah. Any other further questions?
You know, I have a question. I thought your bid specs stipulated that the price was firm for 30 days. How could they give you a 10-day
Well,
extension?
all right, so that was,
Are they giving you 40 days? It was November 4th.
yeah,
Or December 4th, I mean.
yeah, they extended it.
So you have 10 days beyond
Yes.
December 4th. So you have, actually, the bid was on December 4th, and it was for 30 days. It brings you to January 3rd, basically.
Yeah,
is the same.
so they're getting me into January.
They're giving you another 10 days to, like, beyond the 3rd, to
Mhm.
January 13th. Because there is a 30-day stipulation in there that prices are firm for that long. Okay. You agree with that? Yeah.
Is that your last question?
That's my last
Okay, just want to
question.
make sure. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Okay, and I'm sorry, you had a motion by trustee Slattery, and then that was a second by trustee Burden?
Yes.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Burden?
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman?
Aye.
Supervisor Bear?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, next up is adoption of ordinance number 2019-06, excuse me, 07, road district, no parking on Bradford Road.
I don't have a copy.
Sure.
It was in the packet,
Oh, I didn't get it. No.
and that was sent in the mail.
Oh,
in the
there you
email.
go. All right, thank you.
I only gave you things that you didn't have in your packet that I sent out last Friday, just for clarification.
So what happened here with this, Mr. Hertzman asked me to look into this. So which I did, I talked to the sign guy, as I call him, from the county, and asked him to do a traffic study. And he called me back, via the email, I texted him that or emailed him that. So he called me back and he says, well, he got one on GIS, and he says, what if we do this? Instead of we just go between sign to sign on both sides of the road for 150 feet, which takes it actually almost past the first apartment building. Well, so today, I went over there, somebody's posted signs. Now, they haven't been done by us, but they're about 75 to 80 feet from the corner. So when there's plenty of room, 3 to 4 car lengths, so you can pull up, and there's no vehicles on either side, where you got a clear view on either side. But that signage wasn't put up by us, so I don't know who put it up, but it's up. So I haven't had a chance to reach out to him, because I verified it today, late in the day. And so we got one or two ways we can go through with this and do the 150 feet between sign to sign, and then put a tollway zone in there if somebody parks in there. Well, like I said, it's gonna be 150 feet, you figure that's 9-10 car lengths. And that's on both sides, so obviously you know the problem there, people are parking on it.
Yeah, so you can't even see to get
Yeah.
out.
But now they've got them that signage and everybody's staying parked back away from that.
So
So-
what will you do with that signage? Will you-
I don't know, who put it up? Have
Right, you
no
have to
idea.
check with the county to see if you can.
No, I
take
have
it
not
down?
yet.
But you will, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I'll
okay.
follow up with the county tomorrow on
Okay.
that. So I guess, can we table this to the next meeting?
Motion.
Sure.
Yeah, to find
That'll
out.
give you an opportunity to
Yeah,
find out more.
give me a chance to find out what the heck's going on, because,
Is there markings on it that it's county signs?
no, there's nothing, it's a regular sign, but nobody's posted anything on it. We put, tags on all our signs when we put them up.
Yes. Could it possibly be from the apartment complex, from the housing that's there?
I don't know. That's why I'll check with the county, because, as you know, the county, you have to get their blessing to put any signage up.
Right, right.
So, I'll check with them tomorrow, and I'll forward you an email as to what I find out. And then we can just table this till the,
So maybe any other signs, we'll just ask them and then have a look them up.
I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately, it doesn't work that way.
Maybe we get that Rowell Avenue stop sign too while they're at it.
Well, we had that pin, that stop bar, and it's all wore off there, so I've had a couple resident complaints. So I did call the signage company, or did the work, and he said in the spring they'll be back out to redo that. So there's no problem.
All right, so motion to table then. May I have that back for a
January
minute?
14th.
I'm sorry.
Just for a moment, a motion.
Postpone, do you want to do that to the
I
next
just-
meeting date on the 14th?
Can I have that piece of paper? I'd like to make a motion to table ordinance number 2019-07 RD, and that's the no parking signs on Bradford Road, till our next meeting on January 14th. That should be enough time, huh?
Second.
Motion by trustee Hertzman, second by trustee Burton, to table the ordinance number 2019-07 RD, the no parking sign issue on Bradford Road. Obviously, given a chance for the highway commissioner to get additional answers of who put the signs up and what's to be done next. I'm assuming you would get approval for your signs to go up from the county, and then obviously a copy of that would be then sent on to the clerk for the official.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any further clarification from a highway commissioner? No? Jim? This is the proper way to make sure that we can bring it back up on January 14th.
Yeah, you either can continue it or table it to that date. Just,
Okay.
Identify a specific date in the motion.
Okay, which we did. Okay. No further clarifications then? Roll call, please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burton.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Beer.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, that's it under new business. Moving over to reports. Very simply, in your packet you saw there's the general assistance report with the statistics, as well as I've been meeting obviously with appropriate staff since our last meeting on a number of items that we talked about today with the cemetery and other issues, with animal control and what have you. In addition to that, I just want to let you know that this year the employees upstairs, we took up a collection. In the past we've done Toys for Tots, collecting toys of course, but this year we decided to go a different route and took up a collection and donated our own money to Big Brothers Big Sisters with their effort, where it was enough for 3 gifts for boys and girls from ages 6 to 10, and as well as some additional Subway gift cards of $10 were also added into the package. So enough money was collected from each employee upstairs. So just so you know, in the spirit of Christmas, we've done Toy for Tots for the last few years. This year we did something different. Other than that, we'll go.
You do want to clarify, that was not township funds, those were employee donations.
Oh, that was employees' funds, pure
Pure
donations.
donations.
Yes, it was pure donations by township employees. Next up is then our town clerk, Beth.
The minutes of the regular town board meeting of November 19th were completed, and the minutes of the special town board meeting of the 25th were also completed. I prepared all the documents for consideration this evening. I continue to work with the supervisor, Paul Gabay, to complete the needed documents and procedures for the open cemetery. And Attorney Harvey has been very helpful with that process as well, reviewing everything that we've done. I followed up on an inquiry from Jamie Jones of the Preston Heights Lighting District. They had a trustee on their board who passed away, and they have a person to fill the vacancy. She was referred to the office of the Will County Executive for this appointment. The bid opening for the road district to purchase 2 new trucks was held on Wednesday, December 4th, 2019 at 1:30. Right here in this town hall meeting room. Only one bid was accepted from Baker Ford. I did receive 2 other inquiries only in my office, and those were people that actually came in and requested paper copies of the documents. The total bid was for $127,782, which includes the trade-in allowance. Not all items requested were bid on, as the specs provided by the commissioner were not complete. A bid tab was provided for your reference. Attorney Turnbull did take that original bid package with him, and it has not yet been returned to the office of the clerk. The GA report and statistics you do have. There was a senior report provided to you in writing, and also a cemetery report. I will add that we did receive 2 thank you cards from Pete Valek's family and from Peggy Mitchell and family on the sympathy cards that we sent. The only other question that I have as well is, what is the status of the surplus equipment that we surplus several months ago now at this point? There's other equipment besides the trucks. Do you have any idea what you're doing with that? Because that's been well over 60 days now.
I'm gonna get rid of the scrap stuff first, the stuff that's actually of no value at all.
Okay.
And I figure wait until first still weather breaks for people to be able to come out and look at this other stuff that we have available.
Okay.
And then
So
go
you
from there.
think in the spring you'll do the rest?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Anything further?
No, we didn't really talk much about the cemetery report, so if I could, I would just like to read what Mr. Cabay has already completed, if I could.
Sure.
He set up the office space for the cemetery records and operations, sorted through documents and items transferred to the Joliet Township from the previous cemetery authority, created a general inventory list of documents, files, maps, etc. provided to the township. He directed a set of cemetery rules and regulations, which were reviewed by Dan and I and by Attorney Harvey. He directed a pricing contract sheet for service, printed, posted, and made available property documentation and signage that is required per the state of Illinois guidelines to be kept at the cemetery office, drafted a grave opening and closing services scope of work. That'll be something that we will have to go to bid on probably in January. He did also cross-reference a sample of burial records, which I think the supervisor alluded to, with current cemetery maps out at Oakwood. So he took the burial listing and then the map and went out there to make sure that the headstones matched the people that were on the record, so we can certify that map. He will be issuing invoices, on a no less than 30-day basis also for the consulting agreement. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Highway Commissioner Mike.
Yeah, I passed everybody, passed out earlier the
Yeah.
report. So basically, as I stated earlier about Bradford Place, about the no parking, this is what we came up with, and we have the ordinance that we've tabled until I check in further on that. So just as for a matter of information, all 4 jobs that were paving jobs have been completed. The patchwork on Crestwood is completed. So basically everything is done as far as what we had planned, and of course Patterson knows, everybody knows. We've been replacing a lot of street signs, straightening in signs, working on, of course, in the shop. And we're working on that comprehensive report that's due come, I believe, in March for inventory. So we've been working on all that stuff.
I'm sorry, so you've been updating your inventory list, is that what you're? Okay.
Yeah, we've been going through everything. Other than the normal resident calls, we've had, of course, we had a couple of wind events where we had quite a bit of tree debris down all over. We didn't have to have any contractor. We took care of most of everything ourselves. Well, we took care of everything ourselves. Of course, they got the sign stuff here from about the stop stripe there. But we did put a new stop sign, and we got the reflective stripe on the pole. That's done.
I'm sorry, where are you referring to?
That's Rowell and Sugar Creek Drive.
Is that under your crew work?
Yeah, it's on, yes. We did garbage pickup today because yesterday was a snow event, so they were doing that instead in lieu of. Like I said, basically maintenance, we're cutting brush back with the Tiger in the areas now where since the greenage is down, we can go in and without making a big mess. And of course the plow reports here. We've been doing this pre-salt, and by doing the pre-salt, basically what we're doing is we're going out, we've got the augers set down at the low setting and the spreaders at the low setting, basically going out and throwing a course of salt down on the ground, and then through the process, when the vent hits, when the snow hits, it acts as a brine, basically brines the road, and then saves a lot of extra time the next time they go out and plow. So that's worked real well. We've done that 3 times, and it's worked very well 3 times for us. So that's the, I guess for right now, that's the way we're going to continue. And then we got the streets all vacuumed between 12.4 and 12.6. They were done in a couple of days. They brought a couple trucks in and knocked it out.
Are you talking the street sweeping now?
The street sweeping,
okay.
yeah. And of course, we only do that where we have curb and gutter, and that's only a couple subdivisions. So, but it was pretty messy. Of course, now all the trees or all the leaves are down, so we're good to go. But other than that, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. Like I said, the guys have been working, redoing any street sign that needs to be replaced or updated is being done. Every day we try to get and work on that a little bit each day.
So the phone referrals that you're inquiring to regarding the bid for the new vehicle, did you receive phone inquiries out there? Did you issue bid
Yes,
documents?
I had a couple people call and just ask general information on the vehicles.
Okay.
They wanted more specifics than what was actually listed, and verified that there was plows and what have you. What truck was getting what, or had what, to verify. Even though we put it out there, they still
What
wanted
do
to
you mean,
verify.
what trucks? You mean what trucks you were purchasing or what trucks you
No,
were
the
selling?
trucks that were trading.
Trading in?
Yeah, for trading purposes. And nobody ever came out and looked at any of them.
Well, Rod Baker had already been out to look at them.
Well,
Right.
that was back in September.
Right, but they had just been sitting there, but Rod Baker
Right,
had
yeah.
already been out, right, okay. But no other people came out, okay.
Okay,
That's, yeah.
all right, thank you, Nick. Our attorney, Jim?
Thank you. Been working on day-to-day issues with staff, the clerk, various items that are on this evening's agenda, and I really don't have anything else to report at this time.
Okay. We'll go to our accountant, Colleen. I'm sorry, Jim. Sorry, Jim.
Okay. Yeah, we finished all our residential, commercial, industrial complaints. It was a quadrennial year, so there were quite a few more than usual, but not as bad as what we anticipated. So, but they all went well. Of course, we won't get the results now until sometime late January, early February, but we're confident that we did a good job with the board of review. So we're just, right now, we're doing day-to-day, taking care of walk-in phone calls, and about the middle, second week in January, we'll get our books back and start the process all over again.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Now our accountant, Colleen, sorry.
Okay, the bank reconciliations for November are complete and on the table for your review. The financial statements have been prepared for both October and November. Copies were included in the board folders. The cash and investment statement as of October 31st as well as November 30th is on the table for your review as well. A copy has also been included in your financial statement packet. The November IRF wage report has been filed. We did receive our state unemployment rates for 2020. General town is at 2.525%, which is up from 2.075% last year. And the road district is 0.625%, which is up from 0.475%. The wage base decreased though from 12,960 to 12,740. Highway Commissioner sent me his proposed transfers, and after some discussion, we did add a few more transfers with his approval. So there is an issue with our health insurance, and the Highway Commissioner signing off on road district funds to pay the health insurance. He is requesting an intergovernmental agreement. I said to him that I have nothing to do with that he's going to have to address the board. He is going to address the board, but he is looking into that. Meantime, I'm a little concerned because we will have to write the new checks at the end of this month for January. But he's showing me that this will get settled by then, in one way or another, correct? I continue to work on FOIA requests and day-to-day operations.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Any further questions, anybody? No? Yes?
On the intergovernmental agreement, have you approached us on that?
No, I'm not. Because I was just advised of that by my attorney,
Okay.
that I need to have intergovernmental agreements on any business between us, between the road district and the township. That was per my attorney. And I went ahead and got this stuff signed off so we could continue going forward, but I had to verify with him exactly what he wants me to do from this point forward. But my understanding is he wants something from every entity that I deal with to protect myself, or I should say the road district.
Every entity you deal with?
Well, I mean, not the
Just
vendors.
us, really?
Well, not just us, not just you guys. But for right now, that's what he wants.
Okay. So then we can be looking forward to seeing an intergovernmental agreement coming from you to us, right? For us to review?
If you want me to have him draw it up, absolutely, I can do that. If that's what you're requesting.
Well,
My understanding, and the attorney here, of course, he's not my attorney, but my understanding and what I'm being told, it just has to be simple verbiage, that there's an agreement between us based for this particular situation, this, this, and this. Each situation has to be categorized. And it doesn't have to be a big fancy, long drawn out affair.
okay, I guess what I'm gonna suggest is either your attorney draws it up so we can either review it, or you ask us to draw it up, you know, so that
I will
you
have
guys
that,
can.
I'll have that answer tomorrow for you.
Okay.
Well, wait, go ahead, Jim.
Because my understanding is that this has been going on in terms of these payments for, Colleen, I'll defer to you, decades.
Correct.
And, you know, if the road commissioner, which I don't advise, I advise you folks, wants an intergovernmental agreement, which we've never had and apparently have never seen a need for, then obviously it's incumbent upon him, his attorney, however he wants to get it done, to propose it so you can review it to see if you want to execute it, because it's never been necessary. So for you to try to imagine what somebody else wants that you've never had a need to do is very illogical. I mean, if you know, this has been done in terms of making these payments, and you know, I mean, generally governmental bodies try to work together.
Right.
And, you know, but if he wishes to propose some type of intergovernmental agreement to this body, then I assume you'll review it, probably ask me to review it from a legal point of view, but there's never been articulated, as I recall in my short time here, a need for such an agreement, because it's part of the routine duties that, you know, Colleen has done, and it has, I mean, it's sort of like a solution for something that's not been a problem. So it's hard for you to divine what the road commissioner wants in an intergovernmental agreement.
Okay, and this is in relation to insurance payments?
Yeah.
The employee health
Employee?
insurance payments too.
So this is the road district taking their employees out of the health insurance plan and getting their own plan?
No.
He just wants to have a governmental agreement, intergovernmental agreement between the township and the road district on the insurance. And I don't know how it's gonna be worded or anything else, but from what our attorney said, if that's what you want, then your attorney should draft it and send it to us for our review.
All right, very good.
That's my interpretation of this whole thing, because we've never needed one in the past.
Yeah, and I don't think this board still heard why it's needed, but, you know, if you're asking for it, maybe you can tell them.
I'm just being advised by my attorney.
I know, but the question was why? Why is this needed? That's what is correct? Was that your question?
Yeah, that's my question.
Well, he just wants a clarification on where the monies is going.
Well,
Does that answer the question?
That's for you folks. I mean, again, an intergovernmental agreement is a contract between two bodies. I mean, even if the road district would want one, doesn't mean that you have to agree to it. A contract is a two-party document and agreement, not a unilateral one. You know, so for decades, this has been done. It seems like it's a routine matter. According to the brief memo I saw from Colleen, never been an issue. The road district says it's an issue, or the commissioners, but he can't articulate why, other than his attorney tells him he should have one. So that's, I mean, that's all I know, but there still hasn't been an articulated reason for why everybody should go through the expense and bother of an agreement as to something that seems like it's a bookkeeping exercise. But, you know, I can't guess what, you know, their rationale is or what they're gonna propose, so just like, you know, none of you can.
Okay, what's the status then for paying the insurance bill by the end of this month?
I don't know, it's not a legal question, it's not a legal issue, I mean, how it gets paid. You know, you.
My concern, and this is the highway commissioner spoke about this, the concern would be if we shorted his payment, then it affects all the employees across the whole township, not just his employees. Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't care which employees it is, you know, which department's not paying.
Can I ask when you were told this?
Yeah, last meeting with my attorney.
Okay. Again, that's not a direct answer. When were you told this? Today? Yesterday? I'm hearing about this today.
Last week.
I'm hearing about this today.
Last
This
week.
board is hearing about it today.
I know, last week is when I was told this. But I'd already signed off on the documentation, not knowing what I was signing off on, basically. Not clearly understanding. Colleen took the time the other day to explain to me in great detail exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So, again, I'd already signed off on it, so it went forward. There was no snags in the,
For December,
Yeah,
is
yes.
that correct?
I'm just concerned for employees' health insurance.
I understand that, and I am also.
Yeah.
Well, let me get a clarification from my guy tomorrow. I'll call tomorrow and get a clarification.
Okay, I'm just, first we've heard it. You just heard it today, Jim, as well?
No, I heard it,
Was it yesterday?
whenever Colleen sent a memo or called me a couple days ago, yesterday.
Yesterday?
Sent me the email the other
It
time.
also merges together, but I mean, obviously, you have an agenda. If he wants an intergovernmental agreement, he's got to propose it to you, have to put it on an agenda, and even if you wanted to, you can't do it without, you
I
know.
understand.
And we don't have a meeting coming up till January, so.
Right. I mean, he's a separately elected official, he can, you know, by statute, he runs the road district, but if he wants an intergovernmental agreement with you, I think it's incumbent that he articulate the reasons and propose something that you can review, revise, approve, or reject.
Do you understand the problem we're looking at now?
I understand it fully.
We're at a position where we want to pay the medical insurance, health insurance bill for all the employees by the end of the month?
Correct.
Okay. And we're not going to be able to approve an intergovernmental agreement until January at the earliest. So,
Well, like I said, I'll reach out to my attorney tomorrow and I'll get back to you.
okay.
And I'll cut everybody in on an email as to what I've been advised. And
Okay.
proceed forward from there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Finished with reports, I think?
Yes, we are, I'm just reviewing just to make sure. Okay, you ready to go on the receipts?
I think so. I think I've signed it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we place the cash receipts into their proper accounts.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Burden, to place the cash receipts into their proper accounts per the listing. Any questions on any of those listed? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we ready to go on bills? Okay. First up tonight, our general town bills total $99,249.81.
Certify that those bills be, I'm sorry, make a motion to certify those bills as correct.
Second.
Motion by trustee Burden, second by trustee Hertzman for the approval of general town, totaling $249.81. Any questions on any of those bills? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burden.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Green.
Aye.
Motion carried.
No bills to present tonight under the capital fund. Moving over to general assistance fund, total bills tonight, $18,239.62.
Move that those bills be certified as correct.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon, for the approval of general assistance fund bills totaling $18,239.62. Any questions on any of those bills presented? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burden.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Vera.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Bills tonight under our road and bridge fund total $110,143.78.
Make a motion that those bills be certified as correct.
Second.
Motion by trustee Verdon, second by trustee Slattery for approval of our road and bridge fund bills that total tonight $110,143.78. Any questions on any of those bills? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burden.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Vera.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Right. Bills tonight under our animal control fund total $48,664.42.
Make a motion to certify those are correct.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hertzman, second by trustee Verdon for approval of the bills that are presented under the animal control fund totaling $48,664.42. Any questions on any of those bills? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burden.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Vera.
Aye. Okay. Bills tonight under our senior fund total $1,330.
Move to certify that bill as being correct.
Second.
Motion by trustee Slattery, second by trustee Verdon for approval of the bill under senior fund totaling $1,330. Any questions on any of those bills? Hearing none, roll call please.
Trustee Slattery.
Aye.
Trustee Burden.
Aye.
Trustee Hertzman.
Aye.
Supervisor Vera.
Aye.
Motion carried.
No further business to come before the town board?
I do have.
I'm sorry?
I do have just one
Yes.
request. So, Mr. Turnbull, tomorrow I will take those levy documents. I generally create 3, one that I file with the clerk, and then 2 for our in-house copies. Then once those levies are filed at our next meeting, I make a copy for everything. You have signature obligations that you have to make on those and the other ordinances that we passed tonight. When can you be in my office to get those executed?
First thing tomorrow?
Well, I have to go back and create them all, so.
Okay,
How
so
about tomorrow in the afternoon?
that'll be
Okay,
fine.
thank you.
Give me a
Dan,
call,
will you be
Lee.
around?
Would you give me a heads up on what time?
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think by 1 o'clock, but will
Okay.
you be around tomorrow in the afternoon as well?
Oh, sure.
Should be possible?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, no further business. Trustee Hertzman.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Next meeting is Tuesday, January 14th, 2019, at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hertzman, second by trustee Verdon to adjourn this meeting to meet again on Tuesday, January 14th. That would be 2020. It says
2020.
It says